New leaked footage of Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell after their heated matchup has surfaced, and it completely changes everything we thought we knew about their legendary rivalry. The video shows something most fans never expected to see. After years of being painted as bitter enemies, the footage reveals Wilt actually going to the Boston locker room to shake hands with the very players who had just defeated him. This simple gesture tells a much different story than the one we've been hearing for decades. For years, Wilt Chamberlain has been labeled as basketball's greatest loser. Despite holding over 70 official NBA records and being the only player to score 100 points in a single game, this narrative has followed him like a shadow. The story goes that while Bill Russell won 11 championships, Wilt only managed 2. Therefore, Russell was the winner and Wilt was the loser. But this leaked footage forces us to dig deeper into one of sports history's most misunderstood figures. The truth about Wilt Chamberlain is far more complex than this simple winner versus loser story. When we actually look at what happened on the court between these two giants, the numbers tell a completely different tale. In their 8 head-to-head playoff series, Wilt consistently outplayed Russell in almost every statistical category. He averaged over 25 points per game, compared to Russell's 14. He grabbed more than 28 rebounds per game, while Russell managed just under 25. Most shocking of all, Wilt shot over 51% from the field while Russell shot only 41%. If you're enjoying this deep dive into basketball history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, telling us which NBA legend you think deserves a closer look at their real story. Your engagement helps us bring you more content like this. The defensive battle between these two was particularly intense. Russell was famous for shutting down opposing stars, and he did manage to drop Wilt's scoring average from over 50 points per game down to 37 when they faced each other. But what most people don't know is that Wilt was equally effective on defense. When they met in the finals, Chamberlain held Russell to below 40% shooting in both matchups. This wasn't a one-sided defensive clinic. It was two defensive masters making each other's lives incredibly difficult. So if Wilt was individually superior, why did Russell's teams keep winning? The answer lies in something that has nothing to do with individual greatness. The Boston Celtics roster was stacked with Hall of Fame players and elite role players. This loaded roster allowed Russell to focus on what he did best, rebounding and defense, without having to carry the offensive load. Meanwhile, Wilt was often the only offensive weapon on his teams. His coaches recognized this reality and built their entire offense around getting him 40 or more points per night. This created a fundamental problem for Wilt's reputation. While everyone wanted him to be more of a team player, his teams literally could not win without his massive scoring output. He wasn't hunting for statistics to pad his record. He was doing exactly what his team needed to survive against superior competition. The criticism that he was selfish or uncoachable came from people who didn't understand that he had no choice but to dominate the ball. The psychological impact of being constantly called a loser was devastating for Wilt. He later admitted that this label haunted him throughout his career. The only thing he envied about Russell wasn't the championships themselves, but the fact that people never called Russell a loser. This tag originated from a college loss and solidified during his playoff defeats to the Celtics. He only felt relief from this burden after winning his first NBA title in 1967. What makes this even more tragic is that Russell himself had tremendous respect for Wilt. In private conversations, Russell admitted he knew Wilt's good-natured personality and would do whatever he could to avoid making him angry because he knew Wilt would destroy him if he got fired up. Russell even called Wilt the best player of all time because he dominated the floor like nobody else ever could. The public rivalry was largely a media creation that ignored the mutual respect these two competitors had for each other. Beyond the Russell rivalry, Wilt's individual achievements remain mind-boggling even by today's standards. His most famous record, the 100-point game, happened in a sparsely attended neutral site game in Hershey, Pennsylvania. As the number became achievable, both teams started intentionally fouling to either help or prevent him from reaching the milestone. This bizarre strategy artificially inflated the game's pace and allowed for the historic achievement. His 50.4 points per game season came while averaging over 48 minutes per game. Critics argue these numbers were inflated by the era's fast pace, but even when adjusted for modern standards, his statistics remain historically elite. Some analyses suggest his pace-adjusted scoring would drop to 32 to 36 points per game, which would still make him one of the best scorers in today's NBA. Wilt's physical abilities bordered on superhuman. While many athletes have legendary stories told about them, Wilt had documented proof of his diverse athleticism. His verified track and field records include a high jump of 6 feet 6 inches, a 440-yard run in 49 seconds, and a shot put of 53 feet 4 inches. Eyewitnesses estimated his vertical leap somewhere between 48 and 54 inches, with some vintage footage allegedly showing him reaching the top of the backboard. His defensive impact was equally impressive, though blocks weren't officially counted during his career. Historical footage and carefully tracked game recaps suggest he averaged 8.8 blocks per game, which was actually higher than Russell's tracked average of 8.1. The depth of Wilt's athletic versatility extended far beyond what most people realize. His track and field accomplishments weren't just impressive for a basketball player, they were elite-level performances in their own right. Running a 440-yard dash in 49 seconds put him in the realm of world-class sprinters. His shot put distance of 53 feet would have been competitive at the college level in multiple sports. These weren't just side activities for him, they were serious athletic pursuits that demonstrated his freakish combination of size, speed, and power. Even more remarkable was his endurance and durability. During his 50-point season, he literally never came off the court, averaging over 48 minutes in a 48-minute game. This means he played through timeouts, halftime, and every possible second of game time. Modern athletes with advanced training methods and sports science rarely attempt such physical demands. Yet Wilt sustained this level of output across an entire season while maintaining his statistical dominance. The context of Wilt's era makes his achievements even more remarkable. The 1960s NBA was a completely different league with different rules, a much faster pace, and a media landscape that shaped public opinion in ways we can barely imagine today. The concept of being a team-first player was treated almost like a religious belief, and any dominant individual figure was automatically viewed with suspicion. This cultural backdrop made it nearly impossible for someone like Wilt to receive fair treatment from fans and media. What's particularly striking is how the narrative around individual versus team success has evolved since Wilt's time. Today's NBA celebrates individual excellence alongside team achievements. Players like LeBron James and Kevin Durant are praised for their statistical dominance, even when their teams fall short. But Wilt played in an era where individual brilliance was seen as selfish if it didn't translate to championships. This double standard applied to him throughout his career created an unfair burden that modern superstars rarely face. The leaked footage showing Wilt's sportsmanship after defeats also highlights something else that gets lost in the rivalry narrative. Both he and Russell understood they were part of something special. Their battles elevated not just their own games, but the entire sport of basketball. They pushed each other to heights that neither could have reached alone. The mutual respect captured in those private moments after games shows two competitors who understood their place in history. The real measure of Wilt Chamberlain's legacy isn't found in championship counts, but in his singular impact on basketball itself. He wasn't just a great player who excelled within existing frameworks. He was a force of nature so immense that the game's fundamental structure had to be altered to contain him. His career challenges the very metrics we use to measure athletic greatness. Wilt Chamberlain was the ultimate paradox. A statistical god who craved team success, a supposed villain who valued sportsmanship above all else, a mythic figure whose humanity was revealed through later reflection and regret. His story reminds us that the greatest athletes often carry burdens we never see, and that true greatness sometimes comes at a personal cost that statistics can never capture. If this story changed how you see one of basketball's most misunderstood legends, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into sports history. Let us know in the comments which athlete's story you think deserves this kind of detailed examination. Thanks for watching.